Hey there, Toby Stark, Stark Associates Insurance Agency. Thank you for joining us in the 2024 seminar to the 5 steps of success to enroll into Medicare. Now is the time to do your due diligence so you don't make a mistake. And the reason why I'm putting this PowerPoint together here for you is because I want to make sure that you have a full understanding and you're able to make an educated decision when it comes to your Medicare. So this is the 2024 edition here. You will be enrolling in Medicare health insurance, and that is government-run insurance. And you notice here the effective date. The effective date here, it says 3/3/2016. Well, it won't be 2016 because we're in 2024, but also it's going to be the first day of your birthday month will be the effective date of your Medicare. So let's jump right into it so you have a better understanding. So we got step number 1 for success. We got money here, right? Well, you earned this. You earned this benefit. You have been working for so many years and paying into the Medicare system, whether you realize it or not. You've been paying for this benefit that you're going to get. And I'm going to explain to you in the slides moving forward the benefits that you are going to get. And yes, you have paid into the system, but a lot of people are like, yay, I get to go on Medicare for free. Well, actually, that's false. You still have to pay for a portion of Medicare. So let's get to the next step here. And this is the timeline for enrollment. And it's important here that you have an understanding that you have a 7-month window to join. 3 months before the month you turn 65, through your birthday month, and 3 months after you turn 65. So here's this big window. Well, you're going to start getting a lot of marketing calls in month 4 or 5 before your birthday month. And I will tell you, those marketing calls are going to tell you to please enroll in a plan now because we say so. Remember, it's about you. It's not about them. There's going to be a lot of third-party marketing organizations calling your phone 10, 20, 30 times a day. You pick up, they hang up. Everybody has your phone number. It's important that you go through this seminar here and you have a good understanding of which way you want to go on Medicare and you make the decision, not them. So we have 3 months before your birthday month is when you want to start. That's when you want to start your enrollment. And what you want to do is you want to reach out to the Social Security Administration. Okay? The Social Security Administration runs Medicare. That's a lot of the questions that I get, frequently asked questions. Well, I don't want to go on Social Security. You don't have to collect Social Security, but Social Security runs Medicare. So in order for you to enroll into Medicare, you have to communicate to the Social Security Administration. And I would urge you to do it 3 months before, because after you submit your application, the government will say, we'll send you your card 2 to 3 weeks after receipt of the application. You can't enroll earlier because over 12,000 people a month are enrolling into Medicare. That's a lot. So they set enrollment windows. This is your initial election period. So you want to start out as early as possible, and it's that 3 months before. There's 3 ways that you may be able to communicate with the Social Security Administration to submit your application. The first and probably the easiest is go on ssa.gov. Go on the top of the page, there's a drop down to enroll in Medicare. It'll take 15 minutes. Submit your application. They'll review it. They'll send you an email saying that they're going to review your application, and they'll give you a number, an enrollment number. You're done. You'll simply wait for your Medicare ID card. Option 2 is call Social Security on the phone and get an appointment to speak to an agent to enroll you. Now, that may not be as desirable because generally if you call the Social Security Administration, you have to wait on hold, and then they're going to give you an appointment 1 month from the time that you called. I would suggest that you don't do that just because of the time that you would have to wait. And third, and the least desirable option, is going in person and rolling the dice and how long you're going to be able to sit there and how many times of the merry-go-round you have to go back. If your computer awareness is high and you can go onto the internet, do it that way. But there are other options. So this is for you to enroll into Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. And I will go into these different parts soon. So I talk about alphabet soup here, and I figured this slide was fitting. So there's 4 parts to Medicare: A, B, C, and last but absolutely not least, D. So we're going to start out with hospital, which is actually Medicare Part A. So hospital will cover you, and this is our second step to understanding how Medicare works in our success journey here. Medicare Part A will cover you inside the hospital. So when you're inside the hospital walls, Medicare Part A will cover you. I'm going to pop in real quick. So you don't have to decide, oh, Medicare Part A or Part B, well, what part's going to cover me? This is for informational purposes for you to make an educational decision as you enroll into Medicare, okay? And it's everybody's first time sometime. And prior to this, you didn't care, but now is the time for you to care. And that's why I'm going over this for you to have a better understanding of these benefits. When you're in the hospital, you're not going to have to figure out how Part A covers. It will happen because they will file a claim on behalf. You just want to see how it works so you can make decisions. Look at my laser pointer stuck up over there. All right, gone. Got rid of it. All right, Part A, hospital coverage. Well, what are these benefits we're talking about? So Part A, deductible and coinsurance amounts for calendar years 2023 and 24 by type of cost sharing. I thought that was important, that you just see side by side that these cost sharings do go up. So if you're admitted into the hospital, last year it was $1,600, it goes to $1,632. Daily hospital coinsurance is sharing with the cost of Medicare to pay the hospital. So for days 61 to 90, if you're in there that long, it's $408 a day. You have lifetime reserve days once you hit the 90th day, if you're there for 3 months, $816 a day. And then if you get and go out to a skilled nursing facility, the daily coinsurance after days 21 to 100 or $204 a day. And you're probably looking at this and you're going, my goodness, this is going to be expensive. And also over here, this is per admittance, so the deductible resets. It's not like your old medical insurance where if you satisfy your deductible once for the year, you're done. In this setting, if you just have Medicare Part A, you have to pay per admittance. And I will tell you that there are other options to cover this out-of-pocket cost where you will have to pay little or nothing out of pocket after you leave the hospital. So that's combining original Medicare with a Medicare supplement policy. And when you do that, you will have predictable payments, meaning premium that you have to pay the insurance carrier, rather than, God forbid, you get admitted into the hospital and you could have some explosive costs that you didn't predict for in retirement as you're on a fixed income. So those are the benefits of Medicare Part A. As long as you have worked for 10 years or 40 working quarters, which for most of you is simply a rounding error, you do not have to pay for Medicare Part A. It is free. And when I do air quotes free, you've earned this benefit like the 2 slides before because you have paid well over $80,000 over your working life into this benefit to take care of you. So this is Medicare Part A. I discussed the premiums, and also I discussed what the benefits would be if you were admitted into the hospital. So next up, following this alphabetical journey, is Medicare Part B. And this is where you're going to be spending most of your time. Medicare Part B is doctors, outpatient procedures, x-rays, blood work, and routine preventative care. This is where you will be anytime outside of the hospital walls, your regular checkups. Most of your care is done under the Medicare Part B umbrella. So Medicare Part B does have a deductible. And in 2024, it is $240. For most of you, you're coming off of deductibles that are anywhere between $1,500 to $3,500 to $5,000 a year. The Medicare Part B deductible is $240 for 2024. Now, what could happen is every year the deductible changes. And I'll show you this right here. So I just wanted to show you when we have the different years here. From 2015, it was $147. It went up to $166. You see it stayed flat in 17 and 18. 19, it went up. 20, it went up. 21, it went up. 22, it went up. And then 23, it went down to $226. Well, it went up this year, but it is still a small amount of money. And I will remind you that paying the deductible has to be done first. That's your money before Medicare kicks in. And that's important to know that the deductible will reset annually for Medicare Part B. And I'm going to show you a chart next about what the cost of Medicare Part B is going to be for you. And I know you're probably saying, I thought Medicare was free, like I alluded to earlier. It is not free. Part A, you paid for it. Medicare Part B, no matter how long you've worked, you still have to pay a premium to the government. Now, it just depends, how are you going to pay this, right? So if you haven't decided to take Social Security at 65, because for a lot of you, your full retirement age is 66.9, 66.10, 67, whatever it is you want to wait. So there's two options how you can pay Medicare Part B because you need to keep this premium current. One is the government will send you a quarterly invoice, which you will pay them quarterly. That is okay, but there is a potential for a lapse rate. You didn't get it. You have to catch up. The number gets bigger. You accidentally got your Part B terminated. There could be a late enrollment penalty for re-enrolling. It's up to you, but that option may be more difficult. The second option, which is easier if you're not collecting Social Security, is setting up an account in mymedicare.gov. mymedicare.gov. And in mymedicare.gov, all you have to do to sign up is have your Medicare ID number. And inside there, you can set up your banking and routing account information, and that premium will be debited monthly from that bank account, so you don't have to worry about it. And then eventually, when you go on Social Security, the government's going to withhold that amount from your Social Security check before you get your check. Kind of like now, if you're working for an employer, taxes are withheld, 401k, medical insurance, all that good stuff. So I'm going to show you now what the premiums could potentially be when we're talking about Medicare Part B. So let me put this in right here. So now you're saying, wait a minute, it's 2024. That's correct. So on the top, we have 2024 Medicare premiums right here. But the government looks back 2 years and they look at your tax return, and yes, they have access. So depending upon, MAGI is modified adjusted gross income. I am not an accountant, so I would refer you to an accountant to get the correct modified adjusted gross income, but the IRS will most certainly get it right, and they will inform you if you're a higher earner back in 2022. So they look 2 years back to see what you have earned. So in this case, here, 103,000 or less if you're a single, 206,000 or less if you're joint. Your Medicare Part B premium is $174.70. That is the base premium, or the lowest premium that you would pay per month in the two different ways that I just explained before to the government. If for whatever reason you are a higher earner, the government is going to send you a letter. It's called an IRMA letter, an acronym, Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. In that IRMA letter, they will state that looking back at your 2022 returns, you have made more than the base premium. So they're going to have to increase, your base income. So they're going to have to increase your premium. And you could see this Part B premium is higher than the base premium. Also, you're like, wait a minute, what's this? Part D, and we haven't gotten there yet, but Part D is the umbrella that covers your drug plan. And if you are a higher earner, you have to pay the government a higher amount. You would have to pay, in this case, $12.90 to the government plus whatever the plan premium is for the maintenance medication standalone drug plan. And you could see that these premiums do increase. Now, if for whatever reason during this year you're going to retire and you are not making the amount of money after you got that letter that you made in years past, you can actually appeal to the government. There's a form, it's the SS-44 form. You can appeal stating retirement as long as you can prove what your reduction is. Let me move myself out of here. As long as you can prove what your reduction is, then you can potentially march back up to the lowest premium. Just because you're paying more premium just means you're a higher earner. You aren't getting any more benefits for more premium. It's just you paying the government. It's like a use tax. You're a higher earner. We think you need to give us more money for your premium, and it's only fair that way. And I just wanted to review that we're on step 3 here of this 3 steps to success to understanding how this works. Because this is all brand new to you. You're going to be drinking out of a fire hose. You're doing it right now. You might feel overwhelmed. That's okay. It's normal. Anxiety could be high. We're here to lower it down. Lower it down. We're happy to help. So we've covered so far, what have we covered? We've covered Medicare Part A, the premium and the benefits. We've covered Medicare Part B, the premium, and we haven't covered the benefits yet. And the benefits are, let me get off of here. Medicare Part B will cover 80% of the cost after the deductible is met under the Part B umbrella, leaving you responsible for 20%. And you might say, well, if I go to get an MRI and it's $1,000, I would pay $200. But what happens if the procedure was $30,000? You would still be responsible for that 20% with no ceiling. That's why we're educating you about your options to mitigate that financial risk so you can plan for your retirement and you don't have to throw money at providers because you need to be taken care of, but you can't afford it. Or, I shouldn't go because I can't afford it. That's literally preventative care. You're preventing yourself from going and getting better. And we don't want that because that will create more issues in the future. So we're halfway through. We're moving to our next slide, which is Medicare Part C. Medicare Part C are Medicare Advantage plans. Medicare Advantage plans are basically plans that you're probably in right now with your employer-based coverage. And I will go over these now. So what do these plans have? What do these plans include? A network, co-pays, deductibles. You have to satisfy a maximum amount of pocket. It has an integrated RX. So Part C is actually private plans. So you will be enrolling into Medicare Part A and B, but you will be enrolling into a private carrier. So this will include what I explained here with the networks, co-pays, deductible, maximum out of pocket. Also, the carrier will be dictating if what you want to get done is medically necessary. And this is important. These plans are essentially what you have now, what I said, and what may seem comfortable to you. You would have to look up your docs to see if they participate in the network of the carrier that you're enrolling into. This also comes with other benefits like an integrated drug card, which I mentioned here. They also have fringe benefits, including dental, vision, and hearing benefits, transportation to and from doctor's appointments, basic office visits using telehealth systems, home safety modifications, in-home supportive services, coverage of over-the-counter drugs, emergency response devices that can warn loved ones, and first responders of a fall in the home or other medical emergency. So you might think, well, sign me up. This sounds great. And a lot of these plans are zero premium. They're free. And I will tell you the counterpoint to all these fringe benefits and the free $0 premium is you would be voluntarily giving up your right to enroll in original Medicare and moving yourself back to a managed care plan with the benefits that I explained. And you might say, well, but I have a network now and I can look up my doctors now. On original Medicare, which you would be leaving, you have no network, no copay, no maximum out of pocket, no pre-approval, no prior authorization. It's simply fee for service. If you have to go to a doctor, most doctors accept Medicare. All hospitals accept Medicare. You simply go. Medicare Advantage plans have great fringe benefits, and a $0 premium, but these plans change annually and the networks change annually. And who's to say that a doctor that you go see that's covered today refers you to a doctor that you need to see somewhere else that doesn't take the coverage? What do? What are you faced with? You're faced with another decision. Okay, so who do I see, or who's the next best, or how do I change plans, or can I change plans? This is not necessarily something that you want to do as you close into retirement. You want to enjoy your retirement and simply see a doctor when you want to see a doctor. So what happens with these plans are, if you're paying zero premium, you voluntarily left original Medicare onto this Medicare Part C managed care plan by a private insurance carrier. They are getting paid from the government. Could be anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month for you to have left the Medicare rolls. Now it's not their responsibility to pay claims anymore. So now these private carriers have shareholders. You've entered an insurance contract with them now. Now they have the right to say, no, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, you can't get that knee done or that elbow done. We don't think it's medically necessary. I know it's painful, but sorry, we're not going to pay for it. With original Medicare, as long as it's medically necessary, you go. These Medicare Advantage plans, though, sometimes you can't see a doctor that you want to see, or you're at the 1 yard line, so to speak, of about to get a surgery, and the next thing you know, the carrier is not going to pay for it. And you didn't even realize that when you enrolled in the plan, because somebody was pointing at you at a commercial or on the radio or on TV or on the electronic billboard or somewhere else. A friend told you how great these zero premium plans are. And you go to enroll and then you find out, eureka, wait a minute, now you can't get this done. This is a hardship. And I'm not saying this speculating. I've gotten many phone calls about this. It is a problem when you need to get care. Does the Medicare Advantage serve a purpose? It does, for a population, I believe, that can't necessarily afford any type of premium whatsoever. So a Medicare Advantage plan is there for somebody, but don't be fooled when you think it's the answer at zero premium. And most of the marketing calls you're going to get are from these plans. They want you to move over. It's a gigantic business for the insurance carriers. It's a billion-dollar business. They get to take money from the government at the top, and then at the bottom, that means that they're going to give you care. But if they say, sorry, we're not going to give you that care, they get to keep that money. Shareholders are happy. You might be reading more and more about Medicare Advantage plans. 1 in 2 people, it's about 50% or a little bit more, are enrolled Medicare beneficiaries in a Medicare Advantage plan. But I will say in this, buyer beware. I can educate you about a Medicare Advantage plan. And if you want to talk to me about them, great. But buyer beware about Advantage plans and have a full understanding if your doctor accepts it. Be prepared to shop every year because your benefits and network may change. Know what you're getting and understand the full summary of benefits. It could be like the Wizard of Oz and the man or the woman behind the curtain, right? Everything up front seems so big and great, but you go behind and all of a sudden it's not so great. So be educated when you're looking at these Medicare Advantage plans, and that's Medicare Part C or Advantage. So we're 3/4 of the way through now. I will thank you for listening. That was important. You needed to do so. We're going to step in now to our next point, our next stop, if you will, which is Part D or drug coverage. And if you do not go the way of a Medicare Advantage plan and decide to go and enroll in a Medicare supplement plan, you will need a standalone drug plan. This drug plan is probably one of the most important things of you to get and review annually. It's important to do so because these drug plans change. The premiums change, the cost of the drugs change, and if you don't review them annually, you lose. You lose because you might be paying more for premium, you might be paying more for out-of-pocket drugs. You've entered a time now where you're going to stop collecting money and your earning power is diminished and you're going on a fixed income. So every dollar counts. Take a look at these drug plans, review them every year. We send hundreds of emails out to our Medicare beneficiaries in our office every single year. Send us an updated list. It's the annual election period. October 15th to December 7th is the time when you review your maintenance medication drugs. We search the market. In most markets, there's about 21 private insurance carriers. They're under the umbrella of Medicare Part D. Medicare Part D is the umbrella that provides the conduit for the private insurance carriers to do business and help you pay for maintenance medication drugs. And I will tell you, and I'm going to do a video here in a minute, show you a video in a minute. Your neighbor doesn't know, a friend doesn't know. Just because they have an opinion on a drug plan and quote unquote how great it is doesn't mean that that's the best drug plan for you. It has everything to do with, and we'll cover this here, do with what? Well, what medications am I on? That's for starters. Dosage, frequency, what pharmacy? Okay, what pharmacy do you go to? And how many carriers can I choose from? And it has nothing to do with somebody liking a drug plan. It has something to do with you enrolling in a plan based upon your maintenance medications. If you live in a house with a spouse, they may not be on the same drug plan, and that's normal. You may not be taking the same maintenance medication drugs as they are. So I go into detail here in the magic behind selecting a Part D plan. Let me see if I can pop out here. Maybe I'll just click on it. Hold on one second here. It'll pop up. Here we go. Let me back it up from the beginning. Go. Behind your Medicare Part D enrollment. So Part D of Medicare, think of this as an umbrella. And there are private insurance carriers that do business with Medicare. Medicare is government, and the insurance carriers mostly are private. There are approximately 21 or 22 Part D medical insurance private drug carriers in your plan area. So what we have to do is we have to figure out what's the best for you. Well, how do we do that with so many plans? So I just wanted to show you here. We go into Medicare.gov and we're going to scroll down to find health and drug plans. Okay, we're going to pick in the zip code 07701. We're going to continue without logging in. Next, select the type of plan you want. We're looking for your drug plan. And then, do you get help with your cost from one of these programs? I don't get any help for this exercise. I entered maintenance medications here that are common.
atorvastatin, and losartan. So we have cholesterol and a blood pressure pill. Most people that we run their maintenance medications are on these drugs. So I click done adding drugs. And then the next thing is we select a pharmacy. Now there might be a pharmacy that you already go to, but we'll select another one just to see if there's a difference in cost. So I selected a Walgreens pharmacy, I selected a Planned Parenthood pharmacy, and I selected a Rite Aid pharmacy. They're down here, click done. So now what's going to happen is in Medicare.gov, it will compare what we're sorting plans by lowest drug and premium cost. So the lowest drug plan that's offered is a $0 premium in this situation today as I run it is WellCare. The total drug and premium cost for the rest of 2024 is $0. The next plan is SilverScript Smart Saver, $12.40 premium and $169.40 out-of-pocket cost potentially to fill the maintenance meds. And the third and last that we will be comparing, even though there's many more, which we're not going to do, is Cigna, $16.80. That's the monthly premium. And $184.80 would be the total drug and premium cost, the estimated drug cost, okay? So what we do is we make a recommendation in this case to WellCare. Most people will say then, well, it's $0, I don't get it. Who pays? You do not pay. The government subsidizes these drug plans to do business and offer you the insurance for your maintenance medications when you're on Medicare. Remember, D is the umbrella. Under the umbrella are the insurance carriers. So the government is paying, our tax-paying dollars are paying these drug plans to give you the opportunity to get a drug plan to go to the pharmacy and use it if you so choose. The maintenance medications that I entered here were of lower cost, so you're not going to see much cost, if any. Now it says total drug and premium cost, $0. Well, what does that mean? That means that those drugs that I've selected are covered under the formulary at its lowest tier, which means as long as you pay the premium, oh wait, you don't have to. As long as you go to the pharmacy with your card, then you can walk out of there with your maintenance medications with no cost. Another question I get is, well, what about if I go on a drug for 7 days? Will it be covered? You have a $545 deductible. If you have the flu and you need to get some maintenance medication, it's probably run-of-the-mill and it's $10. So you pay the $10 and then it becomes $535. A lot of people say, oh my God, it's a deductible of $545. Most of the maintenance medications that you may be on may not even get you to that deductible because they're so inexpensive. So let's get a little bit further. Let's go into the plan details. What you'll pay, $0. Retail pharmacy estimated cost, $0. You with me so far? Shows the drug deductible, shows the plan address. Then remember we selected these 3 plans? Rite Aid, it's in network. Walgreens, it's preferred in network, even better. Planned Parenthood, this one's out of network. And then it makes a recommendation if, for whatever reason you were going to that, we could find it in a network pharmacy. It shows the cost. Look at the difference, though. Not every pharmacy is treated equally. If you went to Rite Aid, $55. If you go to Walgreens, $0. So think about it. If you were going to Rite Aid before, you might want to think about making a little bit of change. $55, $0. Total yearly drug cost, $110 if you go to Rite Aid. Take the savings. And that's what we do. Go to Walgreens. So it shows what your costs are. When you'll meet the deductible, you won't. And then it breaks down what your cost will be every single month. In this case, you don't need a calculator for this. Those are the costs, $0. So it's important to know when we use the tool, in Medicare.gov, we're searching your maintenance medications that you're on now. If you're new to Medicare and you're turning 65, we're going to run your maintenance medications whatever month that you're turning 65. And that will be our recommendation for that year. For all the rest of you Medicare beneficiaries, and we believe that this is probably one of the most important things, is to get your maintenance medications reviewed every single year, because the drug plans change. They change every year, the out-of-pocket changes, the deductible changes, and the premium may change. This plan that I just showed you, $0, it wasn't there last year. There was a plan that was $6.90. Now that plan that's $6.90 is $12. Well, they've essentially doubled their premium. I know it may not sound like a lot of money, but the premium doubled the price. And now this other carrier that I showed you is $0. That's the play for this year that I speak to you in 2024. So every year, you Medicare beneficiaries that are returning for another year, you have an annual election period. It's October 15th to December 7th. As I put this video together for folks to just review Medicare, some of you might be viewing this because you're going to be enrolling into Medicare and you're not sure what Part D is or how it works or the confusion behind. Well, my friend told me to take this maintenance medication drug plan because it worked for them. There's so many rumors going around and friends that want to share information because they think they're helping, although there's lack of information. And generally, they're going to give you the wrong information. And then you're going to act on that wrong information, enroll in the wrong carrier. And when you do that, you're going to be spending more. So lean on us to do the search for you. The annual election period to review your maintenance medication drugs every year and get a pencil and paper out is October 15th to December 7th. That's the annual election period that gives you an opportunity to review your maintenance meds. And that's when we reach out to you and say, hey, give us your maintenance medication list. Did it change? Did it stay the same? And we will review and make a recommendation for the year upcoming. So that window, the annual election period, October 15th to December 7th, is the opportunity for you to change, the time for you to change. The effective date, though, is January 1st. That's when everything begins. You only have one opportunity a year, unless, of course, you are new to Medicare, and let's say you enroll in June, you select a plan. That plan will be good from June to January, and then you'll have the opportunity to change plans starting in October. So that's how the drug plan works. That's how we research it online. I've had people call individual carriers. Look, do something else. Do something that is important to you and leave the heavy lifting to us. We do this every day. We'll speed up that decision time for the drug carrier by 100-fold. By the time you are on hold, okay, I called this carrier, I've got 18 more to go. No. Toby Stark, Stark Associates Insurance Agency, that is the magic behind how we search for your drug plan. And no, your drug plan is not going to be the same as your neighbor. Your drug plan may not even be the same as your spouse in the same house. And that is normal. Take care out there. Happy New Year.
Spouse in the same house. Well, so I want to just catch up here. That is, in my opinion, one of the most important things for Medicare is D, last but not least, but Medicare Part D. So we've covered Medicare Part A, hospitalization, Medicare Part B, doctors and outpatient, Medicare Part C, private insurance, Medicare Advantage plans, and last but not least, Medicare Part D, stand-alone drug plan, which will be combined with original Medicare and a Medicare supplement policy. This is the segue into Medicare supplement policy. So I illustrated here with original Medicare. This is original Medicare here, and you have a gap. So you saw that gap with the deductible and coinsurance in Medicare Part A. And as I discussed in Medicare Part B, the gap is the 20% that Medicare does not pay. enter a Medigap or Medicare supplement policy by a private insurance carrier. You would purchase a Medicare supplement policy, and this Medicare supplement policy would bridge the gap, making you whole. So, a Medicare supplement policy, depending upon where you live throughout the country, is going to be priced a little bit differently. And depending if you're coming off an employer plan or you own a business and you have to get your plan either on the marketplace before you turn 65 individually, it will be significantly less than the plan that you're paying now, unless you get some type of gigantic subsidy where the government's paying for most of your medical insurance now, because this supplemental plan will only have to pay 20%. Medicare pays 80%. Medicare is the engine that drives your healthcare bus. They make all the decisions. They're the first to pay. The supplement is second, and this is important. That's why I'm blowing the screen up. People, when I mention a private insurance carrier, supplemental carrier, Blue Cross, Cigna, Aetna, Mutual of Omaha, Allstate, they go, whoa, 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 I had a bad experience with them because they didn't pay this, or this was not network. Stop. It has nothing to do with then. It has to do with now. You're moving into Medicare. The way that your insurance and your care is being paid for is very different. Medicare is your primary payer, first to pay. So Medicare will make the decision, do I pay? That is the engine that drives the bus. On the bus is the supplement. It simply follows wherever the bus goes. It only makes a decision when Medicare says, hey, you need to pay. And the supplement simply says, oh, okay, I'll pay. They're contractually obligated to pay. And we'll get into that. So let me just back out of here. So if you decided to stay on original Medicare, you certainly do want to purchase a Medicare supplement, and this will cover the 20%. And I just want to give you an example of somebody that I got a call from where the insured, the person on Medicare, only had Medicare and not a Medicare supplement. So I got this call from this friend. He needed help with his mom. She was in the hospital and had original Medicare, but never invested in anything else, just Medicare. I had to inform him of the bad news that there was no maximum out of pocket for Medicare. And then when I was talking to him, the hospital deductible was $1,408. And after that, the daily copay was $352 for days 61 and 90. If they needed additional days, there are 60 lifetime reserve days, and the cost is $704 a day. If she were to meet the deductible and use all the regular days and lifetime days, the money owed would be $53,856. But if she invested in a Medicare supplement policy, she would have had to pay zero. That's an example of the gap. Okay? Make sure to watch the gap, because you don't want to plunge headfirst into financial ruin because either you didn't make a decision when you had to, or thought the Medigap policy was too expensive. And that's it right there. That's the gap that we're looking for. We want to cap it. We want to cap that gap. Again, fixed income folks, you want to plan for your future. Maybe you have kids, maybe you have grandchildren, and you want to leave some money behind. This is important to plan. It's an important situation when Medicare comes up. And do not just get on the phone with anybody and go, just please make it go away. I'll select any plan. I don't know. I didn't really know anything coming into this, so why should I take some time and learn a little bit more now? You have the information. It's just about separating yourself from the drumbeat of the marketers and pointing and saying, buy a plan now, and saying, what's best for me? So let's jump into what these Medicare supplement policies are. So this page is dedicated to the 20%. Enter Medicare supplement policies or Medigap. They are called these two different things, but they're one and the same. And the Medigap policy will pay for 20% that Medicare does not pay for. And these policies are offered by private insurance carriers, and they handshake behind the scenes. So when Medicare has paid the total amount of 80%, the remainder will automatically get sent to the private carrier. What plan should you consider? Well, there are a few. So we have Medicare Plan G. Yes, it's a letter too. Yep, the government was responsible for naming the plans for the private carriers, so you can thank them for the continued confusion. And we also have Medicare Supplement Plan N. And those are the Medicare supplement policies that you may purchase and that you should look to. So we have Plan G is the most comprehensive set it and forget it plan offered today. Plan N is kind of like a coupon clipper, savvy shopper. I'll save a couple bucks, but I have to do some extra work. But I'll talk to you about how these Medicare supplement plans work in conjunction with Medicare when you actually need to go see the doctor. You go to the doctor. You give them your Medicare card. You give them your Medicare supplement card. You're seen and you leave. Notice I didn't say that you needed to pay any type of copay. You do not. The provider then submits the claim on your behalf. You're either going to get in the mail or on mymedicare.gov. Remember, that sounds like a familiar website I mentioned before, where you could pay your Part B premiums. Well, on mymedicare.gov, you can also review your Medicare summary notices. A Medicare summary notice is when you use Medicare when you go to a provider, just like an explanation of benefits in your prior life when you were on group medical insurance in some type of network. So you're going to get this Medicare summary notice, and it's going to show you the doctor that you saw, what you saw the doctor for, how much you may owe, have you met your $240 deductible yet, and your subscriber responsibility. It's what you may owe and what they charged. It's important that you review this when you first start Medicare. In the first month that you're on Medicare, you're going to meet your deductible, even if you go to a primary care physician for a routine checkup. Let's say your elbow hurts. That checkup could potentially be $240. But what happens if you see 3 doctors in 1 week? Doctor on Monday, doctor on Wednesday, doctor on Friday. You want to make sure that you pay the right doctor, because the doctor that you're going to pay is going to submit their claim first. You'll owe the deductible to that doctor. So you're going to get a bill back from a provider, and you want to look at your Medicare summary notice to make sure that that is the right doctor. Because just because you saw a doctor on Monday, doctor on Wednesday, and doctor on Friday doesn't mean the doctor on Monday submits the claim first. What happens if the doctor on Friday submitted the claim first? You owe the doctor on Friday the deductible. The doctor on Monday and Wednesday is in 100% benefit because you're enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan. Simply what happens is it's called auto adjudication. Medicare pays their portion. They go, oh, we're out. We need the extra 20% now. They will go automatically to the insurance carrier that you have. They will pull the money from the insurance carrier. It will go into Medicare and pay the doctor. This is important. When you go see a provider for the first time on Medicare, simply ask them, do you accept Medicare? Do not mention any private insurance carrier. Just mention Medicare, because the people at the front desk will get confused. They may think it's a Medicare Advantage plan. Maybe they don't participate. Then they're like, oh, I'm not sure. I don't think we participate. Then you get nervous. You're like, wait, I'm on Medicare. You should wait, you don't take my, oh, and then you have to call me and say, well, they don't take this plan. I thought you said. As long as they accept Medicare, they will take the Medicare supplement policy automatically, because the provider will be paid by Medicare, but some of the money there that Medicare pays the doctor will be the Medicare supplement plan's money too, making you whole. So let's go into it for Medicare Supplement Plan G. So for Plan G here, Plan G pays for everything that Medicare does not pay for except the annual $240 deductible by Medicare. Once you pay that, the supplement will pay, Medicare will pay, and you will be made whole at 100%. Plan N is a little bit less expensive. The difference is you still have to meet your deductible with Medicare Supplement Plan N, but you will, every time you go see a doctor, pay a $20 copay. And you might say, well, okay, well, I only go to the doctor once or twice a year. All right, well, then Plan N may work for you, paying $20 the 2 times that you go. So in certain states, Plan N is significantly less expensive than G. Everybody is a snowflake, and it just depends upon what state you live in, what the rates are, and what makes sense for you. Now, also for Plan N, what could happen is if you go to see a doctor and they don't agree to Medicare's fee schedule, then that means that they do not take Medicare on assignment, and they could balance bill you when you see the doctor. And that balance bill could be anywhere up to 12 to 15% of that claim of money that they didn't get back from Medicare. Plan G, they cannot balance bill. So that's a little bit of a difference. I don't want to discourage you on Plan N, though, based upon that, because 97 out of 100 doctors take Medicare on assignment, which means that they agree to that fee schedule. And additionally, there are states out there, one of which you may be living in, which makes that balance billing illegal, and you cannot do it. So Plan G is more of the set it and forget it. Not many more people enroll in G. Or N. N is you have to pay a copay. It's a little bit more when you call, you ask your doctor, do you accept Medicare? Then, do you accept Medicare on assignment? I'm not discouraging N. There's personalities for both. Medicare Supplement Plan is a fantastic way to fix baked cost premium for you, so you know what you're paying every month and you don't have any explosive out-of-pocket costs for you in the future with a hospitalization or with outpatient. If you go to the hospital and you have Plan G, the hospital pays, the supplement pays, you pay nothing. If you're using Plan G and you're going outpatient to Medicare Part B and see a doctor, specialist, physical therapist, you name it, you satisfy the $240. After that, you pay nothing. No network, no copays, no maximum out of pocket, no prior authorization. You just go to the doctor and be seen. You got to worry about other stuff. You just drank out of the fire hose. You just learned about Medicare. Now you just want to hang out with your grandkids or travel. You don't care about this stuff. I get it. But you need to learn, and you're on your way now to understanding these 5 steps of success for Medicare and the Medicare supplement policy. And this is the 20% that it will cover. Now, in this slide, I just wanted to show you that when you enter, you have the opportunity for your initial election period of Medicare to decide which way you want to go. Do you want to take the fork in the road and go to Medicare Part C? Plans combine hospital cost doctor and outpatient care in one plan. Part D, and available in some Medicare Advantage plans. Some plans offer built-in drug coverage. Other plans treat it as an optional add-on. I would always, if you went Medicare Advantage route, get a drug plan. Additional benefits are often included, such as vision and hearing services. Or do you stay on original Medicare, Medicare Part A and Part B? You enroll in a drug plan and you get your Medicare supplement insurance plans. So this is the decision that you have to make, and most phone calls want to steer you this way so they get paid. So that is the fork in the road. So after those steps, we have a maze. We're in a maze. We wanted to start off over here and somehow get here. We've gotten to this point. I thank you for joining me. My name is Toby Stark, Stark Associates Insurance Agency. If you want to learn more about me, just Google Toby Stark Insurance. I'm in there talking about Medicare. I've got all kinds of videos on YouTube. I've got all information on my website. Email me, ask me questions. whether you decide to do business with our agency or not, I really don't care. I want you to be informed. I feel like I owe it to the older generations that it's important that they were there to look out for me, my parents, my family, that generation. They were looking out for me and my best interest. It's my time to look out for you and your best interest in retirement. Why don't we all do that? All right. Toby Stark, Stark Associates Insurance Agency, email me. Thank you all again for joining. I appreciate it. Take care. And if it's the daytime and you're viewing this, have a great day. If it's at night, have a good night. Bye now.